We are live in a VO's Journey YouTube channel. It is Friday, and I am so excited to be coming to you on this show, which is Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. My name is Anthony Pica, and this show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of those crazy things that I seem to step on. It is wonderful to see you all here today. I'm absolutely thrilled, and I've got a great topic to talk about. You want me to do what? Marketing? That's right. We're going to talk about marketing today, and I'm going to post some interesting ideas to you as a voiceover artist and, what we are currently doing to grow our business. But before we get started, if you could take this opportunity to subscribe to this channel and click that notification button so that you get a chance to know when I go live and get these videos every time I send one out so that you can stay up to date with growing your voiceover business. All right, so we got that out of the way. Today's topic about marketing. I want to talk to you sincerely about, I think, some things that are misunderstood with most people when it comes to marketing, but more so when it comes to social media marketing. And, but in general, and I think that today we have an impression about one thing, and in reality it's the other. So here's what I'm talking about. If you have read any data that comes to marketing and selling and what it takes to get someone to buy something, you'll know that you have to put something in front of somebody 20 to 30 times, and it's getting worse and worse now because of so much data, so much ads, so being bombarded constantly by information. So it's taking more and more and more touch points, if you will, times that you actually get your client to look at your stuff before they actually make a purchase, not because they don't want to make a purchase, but because they're thinking about so many different things and seeing so much that their brain begins to block out stuff. Okay. So with that being said, a lot of us have this idea that we don't want to be pests. And I think this comes from a moment where we are, used to getting really rude phone calls at our home at night, at dinner time, from a telemarketer or someone worse that's trying to, sell us something that we don't want, or perhaps even sell us a message or something. And they're impeding upon our personal time that is not meant for that whatsoever. So we are very angry about it. And I think because of that, as well as weird messages here and there that we get occasionally, we have this idea that if we begin to market in a manner in which we are making it an effort to go overboard, and I'm going to use this word overboard with a caveat here, but what I mean by this is we go into overdrive. Let's use that word more with marketing, especially with getting in front of people, that we are going to upset people. We're going to be pests. We're going to be putting ourselves out of the mix because people are tired of seeing us. But I want to kind of step back and have you think about this from another standpoint. All right. Sites like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn, these places have algorithms. Okay. And those algorithms, what they do is, in order for us to stay on that site and not be so overwhelmed with the sheer amount of content, they take all of that content and they only show you about 1% of it, 2% of it, maybe even less, so that you don't get overwhelmed and you don't leave their platform because you can't, just compute all of that. So because of that, if you are marketing on those platforms, you're trying to get content out there, you're trying to reach people, you're trying to post things that are going to, increase engagement and so forth, you're not even being seen by the majority of people who are actually even following you, let alone new people. So in order for that to happen, you have got to increase the amount of activity on those platforms by 100-fold. All right. If you're sending out one post a day, you need to be sending out 100 posts a day. Now, you might think, my God, 100 posts. What am I going to post 100 times? Well, here's the thing. As business owners, our job is to figure out how to make that happen. Here's the thing. I was working with someone earlier today, and I posed this question to them. I said, if you knew for a fact that if you sent out 1,000 emails in one day and you did that consistently, that you would have enough work that you would ever need for the rest of your life if you sent out 1,000 emails each day. All right. Now, the logical question would be, how in the world could I send out 1,000 emails a day? I mean, how could I do that? I'm only one person. I'd be best if I could send out, 5 or 10 emails a day, let alone 1,000. And then if I send out 1,000 a day after a year, right, that's 365,000. How do I manage all of that? How do I manage those people? What do I contact? What do I do? So many times, especially actors and artists like we focus so much on our craft that we forget to focus on the business. We forget to focus on these specific challenges that really will make a big difference. So in the case of the emails, there is a way to do that, right? Now, that way has to be innovated. It has to be come up by you. All right. Now, you're probably like, oh, that sucks. You just tell me how to do it. And the reality is sure. I mean, I could show you multiple ways, right? There's software out there that you can use. I mean, there's places like Mailshake and everything that will manage that. You put in all this stuff. They'll send emails. They'll send follow-up emails. They'll tell you, they'll document your leads. They'll do all sorts of stuff for you. There's places you can go. I mean, I love Fiverr. So Fiverr, you can go on Fiverr. You can buy you can buy email addresses and stuff, the people who search and do these things for you. I mean, you could do all of this stuff. You can hire someone. You can hire a company to do it. You can do all of these things. But the point I'm trying to make to you is that I really want you to think about that and think about what you can do to solve a challenge in your business, not just us voice acting. That is being a true business owner. And yes, we're voice actors, but we're business owners. Okay. So we've got to figure out those challenges. And this goes for anything, right? This goes for all aspects of your business. So anyways, that is kind of like a 20,000 foot view of just some thoughts that's going through my mind and what I'm kind of going over today and this last couple of weeks and working with the people I coach. And I just wanted to kind of share something with you is I want you to just, take a moment and step back and look at your business as a whole and think, how is my business operating? What is it? What am I doing as an entrepreneur to grow my business, not as a voice actor who is just coming in and acting and then you just go on your way. Yeah, it would be nice. Now, here's a little something to give you. Wouldn't it be cool if you could wake up every day, have a list of jobs, do those jobs, send them off, and you're done for the rest of the day, right? That's what I think most of us are hoping for. But we realize that the majority of work we actually are doing that's not it. It's all the other stuff. But here's the thing. As a business owner, instead of being upset about that, why don't we try to figure out a solution for all of that other stuff so that we don't have to do it? We build a system and we manage that system, and that system takes care of those things for us. There's just some ideas for you today. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Let's see who's here today. I know it's Friday, so people are partying. Let's see. Cancun Andi. I like that name. Cancun Andi. I like that. Welcome. I haven't seen you before, so good to have you. I think those touch points have to be unique, though, so they don't get lost in the noise. Here's the thing, dude. I will have to say this, Andy, is that's true. But see, the problem is that whether they are unique or not, they can still get lost. And on top of that, how do you even know that what you're doing is working? You can only do that. This is just my humble opinion. I feel like you can only do that by doing a lot, right? Because if you don't, you're never going to know and you're never going to reach anybody anyways. Okay. I do say something. There is something that's really cool. Uh, you know, there are different marketing strategies, and it's good to use those marketing strategies. It's good to, test out new things. Be on sites like LinkedIn. Okay. I mean, LinkedIn is a great site to be on, but at the same time, LinkedIn is a great site to be on if you are using it right and if you are engaging and you are making a lot of waves on there, because there's so many people on there. All I'm trying to point out to you guys is that how do you break through the noise? As Andy put it, you've got to be louder than everyone else. That's how you cut through the noise. Okay. Now, can you target some things? Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great way to do it. And that's a strategy. My suggestion is you do both. And you can do that by using, like, if I was to say, I want you to post 100 times a day on LinkedIn, you're like, well, what am I going to do? Post 100 times a day? Gary Vaynerchuk the other day said something really cool, because he was talking about, when you're posting all these things, that's when you target people. Like he said, if you targeted everybody from like a state, like he said, like, what's up, Alabama? What's up, Florida? Well, you've targeted like specific, there's 50 posts right there. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, I love the example, but the point I'm trying to make here is that I want you to really begin to think about how you can, we'll use that Grant Cardone saying 10x your stuff. But more importantly, how can you 100x your stuff? Well, we can do it by leverage. And this is the business owner type stuff, the entrepreneur type stuff that is voice actors. We need to stop worrying all the time just about the voice acting and worrying about how we solve these problems with our business. Like we could go into, I could say, are you producing income statements? Do you know the cash flow in your business? And this is not to make us feel inadequate. This is just to show us that if we don't know what we did last month, how can we know what we need to work on next month? If we don't know what we did last year at this time, how do we know if what we're doing this year at this time is better or worse? These things are so important. And especially when it comes to marketing, I think there is so many avenues we have nowadays that are free, but they're only there. So that's a good thing and a bad thing, right? It's a good thing because anyone, like, it's free to us. It's a bad thing because anybody can do it. So we have to work diligently. We have to work intelligently, creatively to figure out solutions to do better than our competition. Right? All right. Now, one other thing, I definitely agree that you need to make great content. I mean, content is king, but great content, trumps everything. Making great content is a trial and error thing. We have to try new things. We have to see what people are interesting. Look at the way we digest information. Engagement is so important. And all of these things, if you logically, like I do, I think, wow, that takes a lot of time. And the answer is absolutely yes. It takes a ridiculous amount of time. And then that goes back to what I said before. Then it's our job to figure out how to minimize that time that we spend, while at the same time maintaining that high level of engagement and that high level of, touch points, reaching new people, building leads. We talk about lead generation, but there's lead conversion on the other side. And then, do you even know these terms? Like, like, there's so much that you can dive into when you're running a business that we don't even think about most of the time, because we're just trying to make samples, make a demo, try to get, somebody to purchase commercial rights. Like what I mean? We're not spending time looking at the whole thing. And what's funny is, or what's crazy is if you do that and you step back and you look, you build these systems, your business starts to run on its own. And that's like music to my ears, right? That I don't have to sit here day in and day out and run my business, and God forbid something happens to us. Right? God forbid we get sick, or we can't do this anymore, or like, let's say something happens with a family and we've got to go away, and where we particularly go, we can't, do things like we can't do voiceovers. How does that? How do we continue to? We're just talking about marketing right now, but how do we continue running a business if we're the only ones doing it? Well, we do that by building a business that can run on its own, and we do that by creating processes and systems and put them in place to where they run by themselves. And what we do is then manage them, okay? Or manage the people. Who said we could never hire someone? Who said that? I mean, we don't have to work by ourselves all the time. We can hire people, all right? Or better yet, subcontractors. I mean, companies who want to do marketing, they come to us to purchase a voiceover. Yeah, could they do it themselves? Sure, they could. They could go and buy the equipment, do it in-house, but they're not going to do that because to them, it makes better sense to purchase a service from a professional, and then they don't even have to put them on their payroll. Okay, but they still get a good service. And we live in that world now that we can do that in the freelance world or the subcontractor world or the world where we are open to anyone and any service. And as a small business, there's not only people available, but there's software available. There's so much available for us. All right. So anyways, Cancun Andi, thank you, man. That's cool. Shabbat, it's always awesome to have you here. Boss is here. It's all right. If you guys have any questions or anything, go ahead and post them in the chat now. But other than that, today is just kind of like a day to think about, your business from a business owner point of view and not just an actor point of view. And it's another thing to think about too. How do you manage, or let me rephrase this, how do you have any quality control over your voiceover work, right? How do you determine if your voiceover work is quality, is a quality product right now? Do you have someone that you send your work to on a weekly or bi-weekly or monthly basis for them to check up and make sure it sounds okay? Do you have a group of people that you work consistently on bettering your audio? I'm not saying that you need to do these things. I'm just asking you, if you do, because that's another process and system to put in place to make sure that you are succeeding and making sure what you're offering people is the best, as opposed to us, just throwing darts in the dark. Okay. These are really important things for us as business owners to take in consideration. Okay. So let's see. Talon VA, greetings. Hope all is well. Absolutely. I ask myself every job if my work is as good as I can make it. Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing. Do you know, A, if it's as good as you can make it? And B, do you know if it's any good at all? How do you know that? Right now, you could say training, which is definitely one thing, how much training you've had, how long you've been around the industry and worked with other professionals or understood, you've seen the professional work going out of studios, or you've listened to, a lot of raw audio and you've trained with different professionals, or you have a group of people or someone that, you have vetted, you've learned, or you've done research and you trust that they know what they're listening to and they've listened to your work and say it's okay. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've worked with voiceover artists where they just don't know if their stuff is okay. And even if someone tells them it's okay, they don't know, they still don't necessarily believe them, or they don't know how to make the decision whether their own work is fine. I mean, that's a big deal. So I do believe that, man. I do need to do more research and find people to teach and advise me. Well, yeah, well, absolutely. We all need coaches. I agree with that. I think every single person needs a coach in some fashion, whether it's a life coach, whether it's a business coach, whatever financial coach, whatever. You need coaches. You need people who know a very specific area and how they can help you with it. Or you're going to spend your entire life wasted trying to be a jack of all trades, master of none, right? Instead of hiring the master in all these different trades and have them show you the shortcut ways to make it work from all of their years of experience. That makes sense. And we can do that now because of the connectivity. But people are still living, a lot of people, especially people like my age and older, we live like we don't have that ability, or something's wrong with us if we do that. Or, there's some of us who, don't like to ask for directions or don't like to ask for things like that. That's not the world of business at all. Okay. That's like school. You can't work with your neighbor during a test. That's like not the real world. Right. So, the more neighbors you can work with in the real world to make a solution, the better if you get it right. Anyways. on a pedestal, getting off. All right, well, let's end this thing up. Let's see. Cancun Andi, I bounce it off of people in the industry, but I ask my clients, who are usually production studios themselves, a few questions about the sound quality, performance quality, and what I can do perform. I mean, that's cool. I mean, whatever systems you create, and if they're working for you, that's great. All right. And if you feel like they're not working for you, you try again. All right. Clint, what's up? How you doing? Well, sorry, Clint, we're about to finish up here. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you're just coming in again, thank you. And go ahead, please feel free to watch back the video. And again, at the end, make sure, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button. If you like this, please go ahead and like the video. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for the engagement. This has been a great week. I think we've had some awesome content on the channel, some great engagement. It's been really wonderful. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Monday. And one last thing, we'll have a great podcast, VO's Journey podcast, coming today. We're interviewing voiceover artists. It's a surprise. So I will be posting that later on the podcast show of VO's Journey. So, and you can find that on iTunes, Spotify, basically everywhere that is out there. You can find us. All right, you guys, thank you so much. You have a wonderful, wonderful day and a great weekend. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.